Wow, I just love that video. You know, it serves as a reminder of why compliance is so important, how we can all work together to make sure that we continue to protect this community that we call Total Life Changes. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Scott Bania. I am the Communications Officer, and joining us today is our Director of Compliance. Her name is Sabrina McQueen. You've built quite a team recently, and your department has been very, very busy.
Yes, we have.
You told me you're doing 24 hours a day now.
We are 24 hours Monday through Friday, and we are now a team of 10.
Awesome. Well, listen, so we have been working extremely hard recently, and Sabrina as well, developing that team, and we just have some very important information that we want to share with you regarding compliance and how we can all work together and make sure that we are protecting this community so that we can continue to have more and more memories like you saw in that video for years and years and years to come. So I'm ready to get started.
We are ready.
All right, so let's just define what compliance is. Let's take a look at the true definition of compliance.
Compliance is a set of guidelines that an organization uses to stay compliant with the law. As a life changer within Total Life Changes, staying compliant is essential to keep your post and content free of unlawful claims. We have many different guides and options for ensuring your content is compliance friendly.
Yes, very well done. Here's what we're going to basically cover today, right? We're going to discuss the health claims, income claims, and weight loss claims. We have several examples that we're going to take you through today, and then we're going to travel right into our iOffice portal and really spotlight where to find all of this updated information that we've really been pouring into up until the last 24 hours. So let's kick it off with examples of health claims. Here on your far left, this is an oldie but a goodie, right? So we've had trouble with this particular one. So what is wrong with this particular claim here, Sabrina?
So in this particular claim, or the three that are shown, anything listing any health benefits, informing someone that they may be able to stop any medications prescribed by a doctor, saying they're going to lose so much in a specific amount of timing, anything along those guidelines are going to be considered a health claim. Claims can be implied or expressed. You don't necessarily have to say it's going to do that. If you even imply it's going to, it's still going to be considered a claim just the same.
What would be like some key words of illnesses that people should stay away from? Like diabetes comes to mind.
Diabetes, I wouldn't recommend anything about lowering cholesterol, anything about cancer, HIV, AIDS, we see those ones a lot. So just keeping it clean of anything you have to go to the doctor to be prescribed for, anything you may need a medication for, just leave it completely out.
I love it. You know what's interesting here is we have to police ourselves sometimes. So what you're seeing here in the middle is, this is an ad that we created.
It is.
Protect yourself. We emphasize chaga and its capabilities of boosting the immune system, but we had to police ourselves, and your software caught this one.
It did.
And realized, like, whoop, nope, we cannot state or make a claim that this will, in fact, boost your immune system. We know the scientific evidence of chaga and the power of it, but you cannot really circulate that and put it in print because we haven't established any scientific evidence for that particular product. Correct. And there's a big no-no on this one, hashtags. So hashtags, the FTC has formed an agency that is spidering and crawling the internet searching for hashtags. So really any mention of COVID, any mention of the pandemic or COVID fighter is going to get flagged. And guess what? We are all responsible for that. You individually and us as a company. We're responsible for everything that our life changers post. So make sure you are aware of that. And when we walk you through these guides, we're going to point out in great detail what you can and cannot do, or really what is suggested. Moving on, we have a couple more examples here with the NRG and the health claims. I know a lot of people love to use with our resolution as
lipo
in a bottle. And really, you know, that's going to be flagged very quickly.
Yes. That's definitely not something we have ever claimed. We definitely don't want the field claiming it. So if you ever see lipo in a bottle, report it to us.
I get it. It's kind of sexy to market it that way, but ultimately you are making an unsubstantiated claim. And the net impression of saying that means to a regular consumer, like, oh, I don't have to go and get liposuction. I could just take this
take
product and it's
resolution.
going to work for me. So you cannot make that claim. Next up, examples of income claims. The FTC is really, really cracking down on this, and we have a lot of resources to show you as well. But why don't we highlight, Sabrina, some of the most common mistakes or errors, or where to use caution?
So with income claims, the most common mistakes and errors we see is anyone posting your commissions. You should never post a photo of your commissions or how much you're earning. If you want to walk people through the compensation plan and how they can earn money and list all the possible ways, that's fine, but there should never be a set amount, giving someone an expectation on what they're going to make. Aside from the commissions being posted, you can't tell people, hey, join my team and quit your job and you're going to earn thousands. So anything that's unrealistic for someone that's first coming in the company, if they can't realistically earn it within the first couple weeks, then it's best to just stray away from it.
Yeah, it's very misleading, right? Because there's only, there's a certain percentage in all direct selling companies. There are a certain percentage of people that are making a full-time income, right? They've replaced their income, but they are full-time networkers, and it's really misleading to start posting these numbers. I get it, right? They've earned it, they're excited, they feel like they should be able to display what they've earned.
Right.
But the FTC says, no, because it is misleading, and people are gonna kind of presume like, well, all I have to do is what they're doing, and I can expect to earn as much as them. So we actually have come up with a statement of annual gross compensation that you can find on our website. Matter of fact, when you go to totallifechange.com, we have a pop-up window. It's right in your face, so you can click on that, and people have the opportunity to kind of see where our median incomes are at and expectations of income. But please, do your fellow life changers a solid and stay away from these income claims. We're not saying that you can't say anything, but we're going to talk a little bit later about how to position a disclaimer with how you're talking about how you've been compensated, things that you've been able to do as a result of being a life changer in our business. Here's a couple other things that we typically see, especially in the hashtags. Using the term millionaire, anything in the hashtag.
Millionaire
what's your
anything
opinion on
should
that?
not be used.
No, millionaire moms, millionaire, it's not a good idea.
Yeah. That along with income claims comes the net impression. So if you're posting pictures in your jets and your Bentleys and you're telling people, join my team, and you're taking off in your private jet, that's going to be, even though you're not saying anything specifically, it's an implied claim. We don't want people to get the impression that if you join the team, they're going to be able to go out and buy a jet and just travel the world. So they have to be reasonable.
Yeah, so what you're going to find as you listen to our training today, and as you go on your own and go in your iOffice and look at all these tools, net impression is really the key to compliance. That just means what can the average person take away from looking at your ad, what you're stating, what you're showing in your advertisement. And yes, if you're standing in front of Bentleys and Rolls Royces and airplanes and all that stuff, the net impression is that to the typical person, if they join this company, they could expect at some point to own or earn a Bentley.
Exactly.
So we definitely have to be very, very cautious with that as well. And this is the sweet spot. We're a health and wellness company, and this is probably the most difficult topic to talk about, Sabrina.
Yes.
It almost brings us to tears. We have to go over weight loss, and I think let's just begin by prefacing this whole conversation with the fact that any company in direct selling, if they have not done any clinical trials or have any proven scientific data that that product can obtain a particular result, then it's unsubstantiated.
Correct.
And so this is where disclaimers are going to be very, very important. This is going to be where you have to mention the type of diet that you're on, that you have a very balanced diet, and that you're exercising. So the amount of exercise, maybe talk about the amount of calories you're consuming in conjunction with the product. So it's a combination of results.
Yes.
Maybe it's the product that motivated you, gave you some more energy. It's great to talk about the energy, how you feel as a result of that product. But when you start making specific claims about weight loss, specifically the number of pounds that you have lost in a certain amount of time, is this really, really important area, and that's where the FTC is focusing on. We have a couple of examples here you can see, and you may want to discuss them briefly.
Yeah, so the main thing with weight loss claims is we don't want anyone to feel like you can't tell your story. Your story is your story, and if the products worked for you and changed your lifestyle, then that's great. We definitely want you to share it. When you do so, just keep a couple things in mind. Before and after pictures always need a disclaimer. Along with before and after pictures, you need to be wearing kind of the same clothing in the same stance. It can't just be two completely different pictures. When you make a disclaimer, it's important for them to not only include the products they took, you should include the timing, the amount of time you took it. So if you took it for a month, if you took it for a week, what diet changes did you make? How often did you exercise? So if you've taken NRG and it gave you energy to do a couple laps around the block, always include that. Your disclaimer should be personalized to you and your changes that you made within your lifestyle. Another one that my compliance team has been flagging that a lot of people don't understand is the lose 5 and 5.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yes. As a company, we have to be mindful of the claims that we're making as well. When you think about 5 and 5, it doesn't sound like too much of, it doesn't really sound like too much of a claim because you're not talking about too much weight, but in the eyes of the FTC, we are. So
it's a tough one for me personally.
I know.
Because we have positioned our company as the lose 5 and 5 company, right? Lose 5 pounds in 5 days. And, the FTC brought some things to light and really explained why we need to bury that until we have some clinical trials done. And in order for us to use that, we have to substantiate that evidence, right? Another thing I noticed here about these before and afters, now this one's cool because they're wearing the same outfit, but you might want to include at least part of the head of the individual so it doesn't look like it's two different people. Same as the other one, right? Maybe a full body shot. But, at the end of the day, I love what you said. We have some general disclaimers that we're going to share with everyone, but if you can modify the beginning of that disclaimer, right?
Yes.
Stating who you are, your name, maybe where you're from, what product you consumed, how long you've consumed it to obtain these results, and what changes you made in your overall diet and the amount of exercise. That's really what's going to kind of sit well with the FTC.
Yes.
And that's what's going to help all of us, remain compliant and avoid receiving little emails from Sabrina's compliance team.
Yes.
Right? Okay, so what we would like you to do is if you have your mobile phone handy or a laptop nearby or a tablet, we want you to log into your iOffice portal. We want to walk you through the Help Center, navigate to our compliance resources. So I'll give you a second to grab your extra device and log in. We're going to go to Help Center. I'll give you a second to catch up. And what you're going to notice there, we have several categories now. We have products, TLC brand events, trading and tools, promotions and challenges, social sharing. There's some important information there about also kind of intertwined with some compliance, testimonials, the FAQs, but what we're going to focus on for purposes of today's training is the compliance resources. First up, we're going to talk about these social media disclaimers. So as we navigate there is a button that says download here. So that's going to download and give you a preview of the PDF. Sabrina, what can they expect in this here?
On here, you guys can expect a lot of examples for earnings and lifestyle, weight loss, product. It's basically going to walk you through how to make a proper disclaimer, examples of disclaimers you can use. I would recommend if you find a disclaimer on here that fits what you want to say in your post, then use it, just personalize it. If something doesn't match what you're saying and you worked out for 30 minutes instead of the recommended 45 that's in the disclaimer, then, just edit it to fit you. And then once you read through so many, you'll kind of get a good idea on how you should start wording any post. I would recommend reading through all of them. The more you read, the more knowledge you'll learn how to start wording things and how to make proper claims and get more comfortable with it to where they don't need to come here anymore.
Yeah,
they can just
I'm
make
glad
their
we
own.
started with this document because we're trying to be clever. We have 3 examples for each type of claim. And of course, you're going to modify it to kind of fit your personality and your particular testimony. But what I do like is we have some examples that you can kind of base your testimony off of. And really what I want to point out here, which is very, very important, and the FTC points this out, if you're going to talk about some of the success you're having financially, as soon as you make a statement about some of the things you're enjoying as a result of earning a supplemental income, we're asking that you can place a link to our SAGC, that Statement of Annual Gross Compensation, which will take the end user right to a PDF of an expectation based off of 2019's earnings of all of our life changers. So that was one thing I wanted to point out. But yes, we have even included some for energy and mood. So very, very cool. And then we have some specific disclaimers for use on social media. And Sabrina, you reminded them earlier to personalize that. You want to remind them again what before using one of these, standardized disclaimers.
Yeah, like I said, I would recommend reading through all of them, and then you'll get an idea on what you want to say for your own personalized journey. Another thing with disclaimers, it's very important that they're not hidden. So when you're making the disclaimer, it should be upfront along with your text. You shouldn't have to click something else to get there. Definitely important that it's upfront and everyone can see it.
We also discuss in great detail how to use some of these disclaimers, how you add it to an image or before and after or something like that. So we have instructions on how to do that on some of the most popular social media apps.
Yes.
Basically, you need a file called PNG, so it's like a transparent file. You're going to download that file. It's just the text of the disclaimer. You can add it, overlay it onto an image. Let's move on to another example. So I'm going to close this tab. That's going to take us right back to this page. I'm going to go ahead and click Compliance. And next up is our social media guide, which I love this one. These are also available in multiple languages. But what you can see here is we have a guide for each of the most popular social media channels. And it's very important information. So Sabrina, explain how is Twitter and Instagram a little bit different than, let's say, Facebook in terms of the use of hashtags?
Hashtags are I would say more widely used on Twitter and Instagram. Facebook, you'll see some, but not as much. I feel like hashtags, no matter where you use them, you're gonna wanna be careful with them. But yeah, just any hashtags you're using, make sure you're mindful, no claims in the hashtags as well. And I would say for all social media platforms.
Absolutely. So you can see there we have, some personalized messages, the tweet, all this information for you to kind of follow through on. We have examples of some of those. So a very, very good guide to spend some time with that. And not only you, but you're building an organization. You want to build a responsible organization. You want to protect your community of business. And then if you're doing that, you're protecting all of Total Life Changes community. So this is a good thing to train on and teach in your private groups. So please do your business a favor and protect our community by implementing this throughout your team and your organization. So we're going to navigate back to the top. I'm going to click on Compliance Resources again, which will take us to Approved Hashtags. This is another, let's see, where do I download right here? So you can see just a set of examples, some of the approved hashtags, what to stay away from. You mentioned some earlier, stay away from those millionaire mindsets. Oh, another good one is
quit your job.
What is it? Freedom. Financial freedom.
Financial freedom.
Please stop using the financial freedom hashtag. The FTC picks those up. Their spiders get that done quickly. That's a guaranteed instant email.
Yes, it is.
Right? Well, we're speaking about the email real quick. Why don't you explain the process? If I were to use that hashtag in one of my posts, and I'm a life changer, an independent representative for Total Life Changes, what could I expect from compliance?
From compliance, we do use a software that will report any image, hashtag, wording that's non-compliant. So what happens is we'll get a notification. We'll go ahead and send you out an email and a text message. If you get the text message, you check your email, you haven't received the email, just make sure to go in your spam folder, double check there. When we send this email out, we actually include the photo example of the post we're talking about, and we'll include the direct link to the post itself. So all they have to do, go through, click the link, remove it, or revise it. Some stuff, if the claim is on the description, all you have to do is remove the description. Others are going to be different. If the claim is on the actual photo, the whole photo needs to be removed.
I love it. We actually have a resource that explains how to remove your post from social media. So I close that tab. I'm going back to compliance resources, moving on down to social media post removal. Just talked about that one. So you can click on that as a resource. But this is really important one that we want to discuss and at least spotlight a little bit because this is showing examples of wording things that would be considered a lavish lifestyle, which in turn is an income claim. So we're going to load the preview there. A lot of information to read, but I mean, like, what are the biggest takeaways? I know we covered some in our examples earlier.
I would say the biggest takeaways are just be mindful of your overall net impression. If you're posting a really exotic, expensive car, mansions, private jets, just be mindful. If it's not realistically something that a life changer will be able to purchase within their first couple weeks with total life changes, I would stray away from it. But yeah, anything that's really ridiculously expensive, like you said, people are gonna wonder, well, I did pay for these, why can't I claim it? You just have to be mindful of what your impression on others is.
It's tough. It's the industry that we're in. We're kind of bound by these rules that are governing us, and you just have to err on the side of caution and really consider what this net impression is, you know. And it all just really boils down to anything that may be misleading. So when we're talking about net impression, it's something you posted that is probably misleading.
Yeah, if it makes someone look at your post and want to quit their job because they feel like they can quit it and make more with you, then 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a claim. Yeah,
like basically we have over 200,000 distributors worldwide with Total Life Changes. There's like 1% of them that are, you know, earning a substantial income.
Yes.
But even them, they have to they can't really promote that so much because it's misleading.
It is.
You know, according to the rules that we have to follow. So there's social media guidelines, what you can and cannot post. There's examples in there. I mean, really, if you follow like our founder and chief vision officer's passion and, you know, influence of what to post, just post things that are fun, emotional. You know, just post things that you enjoy doing, right?
Yes.
Either with your family or your team and things like that. That's really what attracts the people to our community of life changers. It's all about sharing the products, experiencing those products, having a transformation, but just being cautious about not overstepping those bounds and breaking that net impression, right?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely important. Advertise the products and community, not the income. Obviously, the income can be an extra income for someone, but focus on the products and the community, and as long as you keep those key points, you should be good.
Absolutely. Let's close that tab. Again, we're going to navigate to compliance resources. There's plenty more there. We have health claims presentation. We just want to go through this briefly. This is an actual PowerPoint presentation. We'll go to the preview mode. So there's a lot of information in here. Let's preface that. But again, both of our departments, right? So the compliance department and our marketing team spent a lot of time putting these together to make sure that our life changers, the people that we rely on to inspire people to try the products and build an organization, we spent the time on creating these so that you can protect the community. That's what we're doing today. So there's all kinds of information, FTC guidance on health claims. We covered that. Adequate substantiation of health claims. Those are things we were mentioning as well. Does the ad as a whole make a health claim? That's where we talk about that net impression, right? There's a couple more examples in here as well, things that are misleading because you omitted some information, right? Maybe you talked about weight loss, and maybe you said you lost 70 pounds, but you know, you started the products in 2015, now you're posting 5 years later, and you're misleading information. You didn't say how long you've been consuming the products.
Yeah, I think that's another big one. People will assume, well, I didn't say anything. Sometimes not saying anything is the claim. Taking information out, you have to provide as much information as you can, without making a claim, but then you can't provide too little information because that may be a claim as well.
Which is the importance of this training. This is really, we've been waiting for this, right? We've been building all these resources, and we know it's not, what we would say, sexy or anything, but it's so important to get this information out there and let everyone know that we are so focused on just protecting the business so that future generations can continue to do what we do, is inspire people to take a look at this community, get them on these incredible products, maybe build a business out of it, but really just experience a total life change. And you can't do that if you're going to be getting nailed left and right by misleading information. So that's what this one's all about for health claims. I'm going to close that tab, navigate again back to the top, and let's take a look. We have example social media disclaimers. We just talked about this briefly. This is a little bit more in depth. So this is a reference guide. We have some, we broke this down in a different file, but we took it a step further here. There's an energy and mood example. There's a lifestyle and earnings example, and then finally a weight loss example. And we point out what we like about those in each of those examples. So another great tool to first learn yourself and then teach your team, right?
Yes.
I think we have just one or two more to share. Here we go. Product, weight loss claims, another PowerPoint. Very similar to the health claims PowerPoint. We're just going to break it down. What is permitted, what's not permitted, why is it not permitted, right? Basically getting back to what we talked about, right? Including all of the necessary information about your product testimony. What you experienced on the product. Avoid mentioning any cured illnesses or anything like that. Don't talk about diabetes and blood pressure.
Yes.
Just say you're feeling amazing. Look at me. I feel great. I feel like my skin looks gorgeous. You could talk about like clothing sizes, right? Is another good example. Like you're down several clothing sizes without really mentioning the weight.
Yeah.
People can see it, right? So just make sure it's a clear image. Like you said, same kind of clothes, same outfit, things like that.
Same clothing, same lighting.
Include what you're eating.
Yes, and
how much
whatever exercise you're doing.
And how long you consume the product, and really how many days it took you to have that transformation. And I think we pointed this out before. The FTC really does not like any claims of 3 pounds or more per week. So you have to be very, very careful when you said about that time frame of your weight loss. I would encourage you to take, every week or every 10 days, take a before and after, and really show the progression of your transformation, whether it's weight loss or, skin or mood or energy and things like that. And the last one we're going to take a look at. We just briefly discussed this, but I received a compliance infraction. What do I do now? Now you kind of explained the expectations of this. So if you forgot, you can navigate there. Really, you're going to expect an email with a direct link, an image of what post was not in compliance. Are we also, did you say we're sending SMS as well?
Yes, we send text messages as
and
well.
We know a lot of people receive so many emails, and when they have this in their hand nonstop, they're going to see that SMS, much more convenient. So we're trying to hit you wherever you're at. Most people are attached to this thing, especially people that are involved in total life changes, building a business, sharing the products, trying to obtain new customers, right? So that basically concludes our compliance resources. Anticipate we'll be adding more and updating those as necessary, but we have those available in additional languages. We may change the look and feel of that a little bit. This is a brand new platform, but bottom line is the information's there. We want you to spend the time to really dig in, understand why we're so passionate about compliance and why it's so important, and then train on it, teach in your groups. But I think we're going to close it out, really. If they have any additional questions, how do they get in touch with Total Life Changes?
So if you guys have any additional information, you can always contact our compliance department directly. We do now have a direct phone line. You can contact us at 1-844-935-5483. We will be available Monday through Friday, 24.
Light the lamp. A direct line to compliance. That's huge.
Yep, so really important there. Monday through Friday, 24 hours. Saturday, Sunday, 8 a.m., 4 p.m. Eastern time. Or you can always send us an email, tlccompliance@totallifechanges.com. Our agents are there to help. We do want people to understand that as well. Compliance is not something that anyone should be scared of. A lot of people freak out when they get our emails. They're nervous, but it's a good thing because the FTC can hold life changers themselves accountable. So the importance of compliance for us is we want to be the ones to send you the warnings, help you out with removing it before anyone from the FTC can approach you, because they can approach life changers now. So we're just warning, helping you out. Obviously, like we said, we're reviewing the stuff that we even posted because it's just a learning process, the company as well as life changers together.
Absolutely. So it's just all about education and training. And over time, we'll get this right. We will, I guarantee, we will be leading the charge and be the most compliant direct selling company in the entire world. I know it for a fact because I know Sabrina and her team are just doing amazing things, and it comes from the top down. We just want to infuse this into the field. So, on behalf of everyone at Total Life Changes, everyone around the world, our employees, and our CVO, Jack Fallon and John LeCar, we're just excited we had an opportunity to work with all of you today and to talk about protecting our community. So God bless. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the other side.
We will.